Welcome to the Comic Zone. This is the third episode. Uh, I want to take a little more time today, go a little bit slower, focus a little more on less overall items. I've got sort of just a smorgasbord of things here that I've gotten at all sorts of different times. We covered everything that I got at the Panel One Creator Comic Creator Festival here in Calgary for 2023 in June. Um, so we really rattled through a lot of stuff, covered a lot of people's stuff. I want to take a little more time, go a little bit lower on this stuff. Um, Give things just a little more space to breathe. So let's do that today. But first, flagrant self promotion. Let's take a quick deep dive into three of my zines. The first one I created of my little movie projects was the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Um, I was really inspired by artist by the name of Kay Hogan from Edmonton, who had managed to take the play of Hamlet and distill it down to an 8-page mini zine. So I was pretty inspired by that. And the first one I thought of in the same sort of vein was Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was first sort of gestated as a stage play. So I thought that that would work well for an 8-pager where I could be a little more, rather than I showed specific scenes, but I could do it in my own sort of way, and try and focus as much as possible on a single image per panel. Um, and then I did a montage for the something in the middle. But otherwise, I tried to do just a single image per page with our always present narrator. Um, so we started with I started with the opening scene. And then I realized afterwards I don't give a lot of context about it. That they're at a wedding at the time that he proposes. That might not be totally clear to people who aren't familiar with the film itself. But this is really meant to be a love letter to it for fans. So I guess it works. I guess I'm a hack and a fraud, but that's fine, just as it says over there. Um, so I had my ever-present narrator all the way throughout, which was really fun because I could do a little bit of wordplay, do a little bit of stuff where the narrator also acts as a conduit for the um, audience themselves. I had got to have some fun with these panels here. That's the Frankenfurter sort of seducing both Janet and Brad, while Riff Raff is chasing Rocky through the sort of catacombs of the castle. So this was a really fun one to do, and my favorite part about it was creating the interactive poster for the inside and getting to really handwrite and just have fun with placing the text of the actual song, that science fiction double feature uh, in the background of this. And this is something I took as sort of the way about that I do all of the ones in the other ones. So let's delve into those now. Flagrant self promotion, you gotta love it. The second one I did was Die Hard. I completed this in a rush to try to catch the Plaza Theater here in Calgary, which is a sort of smaller boutique theater, who was showing Die Hard. They show it every Christmas, special showings of it. So I managed to uh, look at the film many times. This one was hard to do because they've all been difficult. They've all been a real exercise in figuring out where the threads of a movie go and how they touch different characters. So you find out that when you effectively edit out a piece, you need to take out complete characters. That happened a lot in Die Hard. And even so, I had to do a lot of panels. This one was a lot more work, a lot more watching scenes, figuring out how they work together, figuring out the story I wanted to tell, which is I really focused on John and Holly reconciling and you know rediscovering each other in and amongst all this killing terrorists and buildings blowing up. The focus is always on John's John seeking out Holly and trying to save her. I got to do a fun thing here where I normally don't work over the gutter of these zines, but on this one I did because I wanted to have it draw the eye down and around and then back up, which is really fun to do. It was a really fun one to do. For this one here, I actually created two different versions. I've got one with, I did the same thing with sort of the hand-drawn lettering in the background with him doing the yippee-ki-yay. I did another version as well. See if I've got one here. And this one, I think I actually like the poster even better. Oh, that's not one of them. That's the old poster. This is the problem with not planning better. Let's see if we got a different poster in this one. We do. And this one here, I did the Welcome to the Party, Pal. See, I had actually created this interactive poster first, but had switched and drew a different one because I realized I had cut this scene out of the zine because I didn't have room to have the big explosion and this is when he starts shooting a machine gun at the police officer played by Reginald Van Johnson, and I had to cut that character and those scenes completely out, but I put it back in for a second run of these because I actually like I like the drawing of this one a little bit better, and it's just fun. And the other one I had already covered the yippee-ki-yay portion in the zine itself. Lastly, I did Blade Runner, one of my favorite films. This one was really difficult. This one I focused much more on the replicants seeking out more life, and them Roy Batty, which is one of the replicants, the Rutger Hauer character, coming to terms with his mortality, that he's going to expire. And if you remember at the end of that one, we'll get to it, he kind of he makes a conscious choice. He's going to die. Rutger Hauer's character, he realizes he is going to die. He's met his creator, had nothing for him, could not help him. He realizes he will perish, and he decides in the end, he makes a conscious decision to save Deckard, the Blade Runner who's been killing him and his friends, to save him because his life can continue. And it's really poetic. So this one was difficult to do. Lots and lots of panels. I still had to cut a lot of characters out, a lot of great scenes that I love. It doesn't make it easy, I'll tell you. I got to have a lot of fun with this one. I sort of really got to cliff notes my way through this. This is my favorite part of the zine, where Roy Batty's actually focus. Look at my ugly hand and focus. Meeting his creator and finds it lacking. That was a lot of fun to do. So I had, this is Roy Batty realizing that he is dying. His body is ceasing to work, and then chooses to provide life to someone else. And my poster on this one I really love, because I overlaid the entire speech of Roy Batty's Tears and Rain over Rutger Hauer. I had a lot of fun with that. And speak right in your voice. Toilet After Dark, how are you? Nice to see ya. I'm doing a little flagrant self-promotion at the moment. These went through 3 different zines that I've created. Flagrant self-promotion over. Although, if you wanted to follow me on Instagram, you could do so at with these two hands YYC. You could do that. I'm really good, thank you. Today I'm slowing things down a little bit. We're gonna run through a smattering of things, but I want to do deeper dives into them. Last couple weeks, I've been going over zines and comics that I managed to pick up and trade for at the Panel One Comic Creator Festival here in Calgary. A group of around 50 really talented creators all in one room. So I ran around and traded like crazy. It was awesome. Really good. Panel One does a great job of community building. And you really feel it in that room. So it was good. Okie doke. Let's start with a piece I just got. So my comic collaborator Gord handed me this when I was at his house the other day. This is created by a mutual friend of ours, a friend that I actually met through Gord, who actually drew the cover for our second collaborative comic piece that we did together as Genki Comics. We're Genki Comics, which I guess I could put here if you wanted to follow that as well. At Genki Comics. So at with these two hands YYC, that's me, that's the stuff I do. At Genki Comics is the collaborative effort that I do with my friend Gord Cummings, who's incredibly talented. We've gone over some stuff that we've done in the past. I will be flagrantly self-promoting those in the future as well. I'm working on some new stuff for that. And some big news. Gord and I just received word that we've been awarded a provincial art grant to start research on our next project. So we're really excited about that. We're making plans to do a pretty involved road trip to do a bunch of research and writing on our next project. So that's really exciting. Steve has been a nice part of what we've done. When we did our second issue of our collaborative book, Genki, Steve does these really great spray paint art pieces. He gave us this really amazing wraparound cover for our second issue. He's a Métis artist, and it was important to us. We know Steve, we know his work, we know he's awesome. Genki Erasure is about a lot of Indigenous issues and reconciliation here in Canada, to do with residential schools and what was called the 60s scoop, which was the Canadian government essentially plucking children out of the homes of their parents and giving them to white Christian families through an adoption program. Lots of messed up stuff in Canada around Indigenous issues. We have a piece of legislation that's still on the books from the late 1800s called the Indian Act, that is, when we talk about systemic racism, that's a big one that got it baked into our system. So Steve is really talented, did the cover for our second issue, and this is a piece that he's done. He's been partnering with a small town Alberta museum and doing some really great work for them. So it's the Reynolds Alberta Museum, and so he's been doing these driving through the 70s items. And so this is a really cool, old-fashioned hang on your mirror air freshener. It smells like a 70s air freshener, but it's really nice art. I love this. I love simplified, vector-based line art. So this is right up my alley. If you want to follow what Steve's doing, because I love what he's been doing, that's at oldboy76. Let's take a quick look at. This is Steve's Instagram post he made about some of the stuff he was doing for this driving through the 70s stuff he was doing for yeah, 1970s designs for the Reynolds Alberta Museum. Really cool stuff. And he's got lots of other stuff too. Here's some of his awesome art he does. He does lots of like Marvel and pop culture stuff, and really, yeah, really nice stuff. I know back in the day I tried my hand at a bunch of spray paint art, and I never got as good as Steve is at it. So Steve is great. He's a good follow. He's a good guy. So definitely a good follow. Okay, so that's Steve Gervais and the Driving Through the 70s one. I love that. Okay, let's put that in there. Next one. I wanted to showcase this. I know that in the ether out there are some great wrestling fans. Calgary, where I live in Canada, has a storied history with wrestling because it's the birthplace of Stampede Wrestling, which was the Hart family. So Bret the Hitman Hart, Owen Hart, and their father Stu Hart, which was the originator of Stampede Wrestling, and was a wrestling champion back in his day, back in the 1950s, and then started Stampede Wrestling, and really was instrumental in everything we know about wrestling now. The Hart family was instrumental in everything that we know about everything that's come since has all started with that. So the great thing that I love about this, it was put out by the Calgary Atlas Project, which was an art project, as you see here, by the Calgary Institute for the Humanities, with support from the Calgary Foundation, University of Calgary Faculty of Arts, and the artist for it, Kyle Beal. He's my brother-in-law. He's awesome. He's a really, really talented artist. Kyle Beal is hugely talented, and also, in addition to being a fine artist in his own right, also runs a very successful and very well-run art installation and art services company as well. He's hung art in a lot of very famous Albertans' homes. Very famous Canadians have had him hanging art and trusted him with their art. So if you wanted to follow Kyle Beal, it was also written by Heath McCoy, the edited by Jim Ellis, and the graphic designer on this was Glenn Mielke. But we're focusing on Kyle today. Kyle's my brother-in-law. He's awesome. Take a look at this thing. So Kyle did these wonderful portraits of many of the most important people in the Hart family history and Stampede Wrestling history. He did these ones for the front and these wonderful, wonderful, look at that. Look at all these. There's Bret the Hitman Hart right there. The excellence of execution in all his glory. I had dinner not with Bret the Hitman Hart, but at the table next to him about probably about 5-6 months ago. I was at a place here in Calgary with Gord, with my comic collaborator, and yeah, who's sitting next to us then? Bret the Hitman Hart, and it's just nice when you see him around town, because that, to me, the Hart family is like royalty in this town, and Bret the Hitman Hart in particular is probably my favorite wrestler of all time. We've also got Rest in Peace, Dear Sir, Owen Hart. So I love this. I love what they did. They also did, Kyle, I believe, put together the actual map part of it. and it's cool because it's collaged over old Stampede Wrestling posters, but then it has the cross streets. We got Center Street North, 16th Avenue, which is highway number one that goes through Calgary. All the places are put in hearts because, of course, the Hart family. You can follow this and this map and discover some amazing wrestling history from my city. I love this thing. It's a cool piece. The Calgary Atlas Project ever also did several other pieces. They're all very Calgary centric and Alberta centric, but you'd be surprised. Like when it comes to this, even with Stampede Wrestling, they had worldwide impact. The WWE wouldn't exist the way it does, for better or worse, I guess. But it wouldn't have happened, and a lot of the talent that we saw going through the WWE and back in the day with the WWF and WCW, you wouldn't have seen some of those names that you know and love without the Hart family's influence on wrestling culture. A ring a ding dong dandy, it's called. It's awesome. I love it. Hey, I wanted to touch on these two pieces here, done by a wonderful comic creator, Michael McAdams. If you'd like to follow what they're doing, so Michael McAdams is part of a thing called Two Gargoyles Comics. Um, Michael McAdams is great. Uh, he's very talented. He does really great comics. These are a little different than his normal fare. These are based off of the old sort of 1950s through today. They still sell them today, but you can't get them in Canada. Called Chick Tracks. I believe it's John Chick was the original person who put these out. They were these little Christian propaganda pieces. So Michael has done a really cool pastiche of that, focusing on indie comics and indie comic creation as this like mock, you know, chick track, like religious propaganda. So good. So Michael McAdams wrote this, and Kyle Burles did the art. And it's twogargs.com if you want to check out their website. Or you can follow them at twogargs on the old Instagram. Let's go through this one. This one's called A Plague of the Spirit. There is a plague looming on the horizon. It threatens to infect everyone in your social circle. It can lay dormant, sometimes for years, before it fully activates. And when it does, it is devastating. For it is not a plague of the earth, but of the spirit. It is a demon called creativity. Everyone has some degree of creativity in them, just waiting to be triggered. To bloom into a full-blown epidemic of imagination. People who fall prey to the demon creativity will often seem listless or bored, and then suddenly experience a surge of energy, often called an idea. Symptoms include a sudden widening of the eyes. This is called inspiration. Followed by an intense flurry of activity. Victims may start writing or drawing, singing, or sculpting. There are so many ways creativity can manifest. Creativity can appear in isolated solo cases or in groups. In its final stages, creativity wants to be shared. Watch out for people trying to show you something they've created. Avoid television, movies, books, walks in nature, or anything inspiring. Or you too could fall victim to a bout of creativity. So these chick tracts were always about your the fight for your whole, your eternal soul, your salvation. So are you safe from creativity? Your salvation is at hand. And here you go. You could order 2 Gargs comics. They get cool stuff, by the way. We're probably going to go through some of the 2 Gargoyles comics. I don't have a ton of their stuff, but I have a really good compilation that has a bunch of their first issues of several different books that they have. And so we're going to run through that at some point. I've got it on the shelf back here somewhere. So I love these things. The Indie Conspiracy is the next one from 2 Gargoyles. This one very much talks about indie comics. There's a conspiracy afoot that you probably don't even know about. There are people writing and creating their own comic books, peddling them to unsuspecting readers. And you won't usually find them in stores. But if you go to your local comic shop, you may find them in a secret coded section labeled with the words local creators. These are independent comics called indie in hushed tones by the conspirators. Here's a bunch of Michael's works. He's known very, very much for this one here, Diaper Man. Is actually a pretty well-known one that he creates. Come on, focus, focus, focus on me, focus on me, camera, focus on me. What are the other ones we've got here? The Twilight Detective, yeah, Thunder. What's this one? Spectrum, yeah, they're all very good. Mainstream comics are governed by big business. Their creators are told what to write and what to draw. You won't find any dark, heinous, free thinking here. Mainstream comics are meant to give you what the corporate masters know you want. Movies, toys, t-shirts, merchandise. Did you know that every dollar you spend on mainstream comics helps a deserving corporate master buy another boat? It's true. But if you throw your money at an indie creator, here's what happens. The indie creator can eat, buy clothing, keep a roof over their head, pay their bills on time. Your money directly contributes. Focus. Focus. Directly contributes to the corrupt lifestyle of the indie creator. Come on, camera, work with me now. Okay. You, with your hard-earned money, are actively feeding their habit, the habit of creating works of art with no oversight, no direction, and no control. This camera is killing me. Think of it. Supporting indie artists is helping to create independent, free-thinking art. Do you want to be a party to that? Oh, geez, he's got a lumbar hernia. I know how that feels. Here's an indie artist now. What's that in his arms? His books he printed with the money you gave him. And what's this? This indie artist is walking into their local comic shop, bold as day, and putting her books on the dreaded local creator shelf. If we don't act now, soon every comic store in the world will carry local, independently created books. And then what will happen to the poor, mistreated mainstream comics masters? Act now. Stop paying indie comics creators a living wage. Put a stop to their imaginations and boundless creativity. It's time to rein in their independent thinking. Are you ready to fight the terrible indies? Your salvation is at hand. I love these. And if you've ever read a chick tract or just open an incognito window and just search chick tract, chick like a chicken chick, and tract like a tract of land. Chick tract. If you've ever seen one of those, these are very like these are pretty masterfully done pastiches on that. So Michael McAdams, you'll find Michael McAdams, sorry. I always call him McAdams, but it's McAdam. Sorry, very sorry. I actually did some background performance work with Michael McAdam on a movie. Can't tell you any more than that. Probably shouldn't have told you that much, but we did. Michael's great. I really like Michael. Let's take a quick look at the old Two Gargs site here. There's Michael right there. Let's look at this. Thunder #1. That's one of the books that we looked at there. Twilight Detective Agency. Here's a couple from a couple of the characters from Twilight Detective Agency. It's all awesome stuff. So definitely give Michael a follow and check out his works. They're great stuff. Okay. Next, we're going to do a bit of a deep dive on 3 books here I have from Cam Hayden. So any of you that have been watching, I've shown Cam Hayden stuff quite a bit because I'm a huge fan, and I'm happy to be able to say I think I consider Cam a friend. We've hung out enough. I think I can say that. You're gonna find Cam's work at Lance Goiter on Instagram. So this is these. I think these are a bit older now. Shitty stories and extra shitty stories. There are a couple of great compilations of work. Cam's stuff is super good. It's like very visceral and very like when he wants it to be slimy, he can make it slimy. When he wants it to be sweaty, he can make it sweaty. He's very good at rendering lots of like cool yicky stuff. We're also going to go through this here, which is called Submit or Die, which are a compilation of different newspaper magazine submissions that Cam has done that didn't find publication elsewhere, but he was able to pull them together and make this really, really nice tabloid style book out of them. So we're going to do a bit of a deep dive on Cam stuff today. Shitty stories. Look at that. Underwater Brown. Out of the muck and into your truck since 1987. So we're going to do a bit of a flip through. We might not read every single thing, but we're going to do a bit of a flip through. Cam was very smart when he made this thing. He made a nice little place where you can put a signature and a little drawing if you wish to. Maybe what we'll do, let's read through this one here. Ring piece. Here we are at the Fancy Meatball. Wow, that was so great. Did I hit a home run? You sure did. Favorite restaurant? Favorite meal? What else have you got planned for our big date? Well, lots. But first, we should have dessert. Oh boy, I'm stuffed. I knew you would be. Let's just order something small. Oh. Come on, Charles. Flip the page. How long is this one? Let's figure that out. Pretty long. Might be pretty long. Let's do a quick flip through. I want to flip through a few other things before we finish today too. Calls over the maitre d' and says, "We'd like to get some dessert now. Maybe some, a wink, cupcakes." "I'm sorry, sir. We don't have cupcakes on the menu today." Maybe we could just get something else. No, my love, we should have cupcakes. I was told uh, uh, that there were definitely cupcakes. But sir, we don't. Oh wait, it must be a new menu addition I was unaware of. I see another diner having cupcakes. Odd. I'll be right back. He's seething. And the guy eating cupcakes finds something inside. Something special. 1 minute, my dear. Nature calls. Where did those come from? Huh? A waiter brought them. You're gonna love my voices, by the way. If you get some, I wouldn't eat them. They got problems. I nearly choked on mine. Oh no! Those were mine. I had a wedding ring in one of them. So that's what that was. It hurt like a bitch going down. Going down? Oh, that was my mother's ring. I need it back. Was it valuable? Of course it was. I need it. Well, we appear to be a couple of guys with a couple of problems. I see one problem. Nope, you need your ring back, and I need a place to crash for the next couple of nights. That's two problems, right? I'll just be on my merry way. Later on at the apartment. Let me know if this is boring. If this is boring, we'll move on. I just like doing voices. That story about being airplane crash survivors? Great. Couldn't have done it better myself. Anne is gonna kill me. Tonight was supposed to be special. Then you come along. Act of God, man. Nice place. Lots of cool stuff. I don't know how long this goes. We'll find out together. And speaking of coming along, would you like to use the facilities? Nope, not yet. Got any beer? Later on. Now? Nope. Oh, wait. Start Smith farting. Nope. That's yesterday's boiled eggs. How about now? You'd think so, but maybe I'm too stressed. A hot bath might help. This guy's just gonna do this as long as possible. We'll just read a couple more pages, and then we'll keep flipping. Now? Maybe. This could be it. He's trying to take a dump with his stuff. Oh my gosh, it's gonna keep going. It's pretty good. The guy's here with the blow-up doll. Just hanging out on the couch with the blow-up doll. We'll Cliff Notes it from here on. This guy needs to crap out his ring. Oh, it's almost done. Do it. How's it going in there? Oh, it's going. It's going like crazy. Oof, all yours, buddy. Holy shit. That's right. So, still nothing. You know, sometimes stuff gets hitched in my guts. I wouldn't surprise me if I had to wait out a week or two. Next day. I'm putting this mini trampoline in your room. Huh? You're gonna jump on it till that goddamn ring gets dislodged. Hey, I'm not much for physical activity. I'm sick of digging through your horrible loafs. You can shake it out with the trampoline, or I'll shake it out with a goddamn baseball bat. So that's how it is. Well, here he is, sorting through the guy's turds with a fork. That's how it is. Oh my god. So as he starts jumping on the trampoline, he has a horrible heart attack and dies. But he's quite resourceful. Oh my god. He leaves the body in the room for 3 months. And the flies take care of it. And he gets himself the wedding ring. And all is well. Good stuff. I don't know how Cam comes up with this stuff. It's all very good, though. Here we get a Viking warrior against a what appears to be a troll. Meanwhile, here's a lady with a massive goiter. Well, another guy's maybe he's molting his own skin. That is a good one. I'm just going to show you choice pieces out of all these. Here's a guy appearing to he molted out of his own skin and rebirthed himself. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Cam has a way with just everything. Here are two wildlife photographers who get picked up by some UFOs for some good times. Oh my God. See, this is what I'm talking about. Cam is able to draw really quite like lots of lots of bodily fluids, lots of goop, lots of gore, but keeps it fun. Here he is talking with a here's Farmer Bob talking to a pig. Hey, what's up, Farmer Bob? You have another heart attack? I reckon I did. This is the big one, pig. I'm done. You're my oldest and dearest friend. I need you to promise me that you'll look after my wife. Can you do me this one last favor, buddy? Yeah, Bob, you can count on me. Happy trails, pal. It's been an honor to have known you. There's the pig. Hey, baby, I'm home. With Farmer Bob's skin on his face. Cam, how do you do it? How do you do it? He's got a really like it's like watching I think Cam was as touched by the old heavy metal movie as I was. He's got a lot of stuff that has that like devilish sense of humor. Here's a spaceman that's trying to escape from some aliens, trying to survive in a hostile environment. While there's a pretty large sort of alien centipede after him. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. And here's Rhett and Scarlet on what should have actually happened at the end of Gone with the Wind. These are great. That's shitty stories. Let's take a quicker flip through of extra shitty stories. Cam has a Patreon, by the way. I haven't checked it out. Let's take a quick look. Patreon.com/, I think it's /Cam Hayden. Let's take a look and see if that's right. Oh no, it's right, /Lance Goiter. Should have known. Let's take a very quick look at that. So Cam Hayden Comics. I may have actually shown this before, but it's worth showing again. So Cam Hayden does a Patreon as little as $2 Canadian a month, and other stuff as well. I actually have never checked out Patreon really, so I don't subscribe to any Patreons, but Cam's a good one. That would probably be a pretty fun one to do. Cam did a really nice job on this one of making it look like it's printed on an old newsprint, like, and has sat for 40 years, right? Where newsprint, as it kind of browns and ages, did a really nice job of that. And doing a little bit of longer form stuff in the extra shitty stories. And I'll show you just, same as before, I'll just show you some sort of choice panels. Really nice stuff. Cam's style has consistently been really, really good. He manages somehow to make it like have a lot of gross stuff, but like not so gross that you feel gross. Just gross enough that you get a good smile on your face while you're reading it. Did a nice job with using sort of a two color or single color spot color on these while still keeping that old weathered newsprint look. These two fellers gone fishing. These two fellers finding something coming up to their boat. It's Danny's grandpa. It's Grandpappy comes up out of the water. Doing some other really nice treatments. These ghostly figures in the window. Hey, if you're you're Canadian when you see a PV Mart and you recognize every damn thing about it. They have PV Marts in America? I don't know. Hi, human robot. Nice to meet you. How are you doing? We're going through some indie comics and zines tonight. This is a selection of stuff from the writer and artist Cam Hayden. This particular one called Extra Shitty Stories. This is a really special compilation, this one, I think. We last week when we were going through this, we flipped through a bunch of magazines from a magazine called Freaky. We went through these 4 really awesome books that harken back to that sort of Mad Magazine, Cracked, National Lampoon, kind of all those things mixed together in a really subversive package. So Freaky, what's so special about these 4 to me is that each of them have a submission from Cam Hayden in them. This particular book here, Submit or Die, are newspaper magazine submissions that Cam has sent to things, but they didn't find publication. So luckily he was able to pull these things out and still do a really great job of having them have a place somewhere. So The Curse of the Purse and the Mummy. Once again, I'm just going to show some really choice panels. Once again, Cam being a master at showing gross stuff in a not disgusting way, just making it look cool. So we go. Nice thing about these, because they're newspaper and magazine submissions, they're these nice little standalone stories, which works great for this sort of compilation, because you have these nice little compact stories. You got things that are 2 to 4 page kind of things. This one's about a guy getting bit through his cowboy boot and having to get the poison sucked out of him by old Jed here. It's really nice. Yeah, just really, really good stuff. I'll just keep showing nice little choice panels of them. Here's a guy gunning a pickle jar. when I was in college, we actually went to a party one time, and it was if you spilled your beer, you had to drink from the pickle brine jar. I don't know why, but it was the rules. Get a little bit of really some almost hot rod styled stuff here, like the Rat Fink kind of stuff. So old granny looking for a hot rod. Look at some of these ones. He draws just these awesome, like almost caricatures. You know, he's able to always make like this old hippie here. It's just so like iconic. We've got basically a Ghost Rider kind of thing. It's kind of his take on Doctor Strange. Got Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider comes and asks this Doctor Strange character to help him out with a bit of a medical issue. Anomaly from 3,700 meters. Look at that. Look at how visceral that is. It's good stuff. Just good stuff. Here we got a pantsless, assless leotard wrestler. You know what? I'm not going to show that one too close. The Tennessee Boy Fiddler. Look at that one. Look at that Lovecraftian nightmare. Yeah. And on the back, really cool thing is an early look at a comic that I love. It's one of my favorite indie comics of all time, called Futility. It's about this feller here. He's a farmer who builds his own spacecraft out of a grain bin and flies off for the unknown. He's a was sort of sent out the bottom of the astronaut program. Always held a grudge because he didn't get to go to the moon, so he builds his own rocket ship and goes to space. And at some point, we're gonna go through all the issues. I think there are 4 issues right now of Futility, and I've been begging them for a couple of years now to bring back some more Futility. Futility is an awesome indie comic series. Okay, last thing we're going to go through tonight is I want to take a deeper dive into Lumpy Slump, issues 1 and 2. Take a little, even a little bit of a closer look than we did previously. One reason I want to do that is John Moretta with Lumpy Slump has a crowdfunding effort out there right now to help crowdfund the 3rd issue of this, and I think it's worthwhile. Let me bring that up on screen here. So that one there I'm going to bring up 2 things. The Instagram for that one is @LumpySlumpOfficial. So you'll find some really cool artwork of the Lumpy Slump series. I love this one. It's really, It's really goofy, really fun. See you, Twilight. Thanks, Twilight. Appreciate you coming by. So Lumpy Slump, it's a fun follow on Instagram, but also this crowdfunding effort that they're doing for Lumpy Slump number 3. Lumpy battles brutal brain leeches. It's going to be pretty fun. I get a real kick out of Lumpy Slump. I think it's very good. This alternate cover they have is incredible. Reminds me of The Brood and all those things from X-Men and some other stuff like that. So if you wanted to pick up Lumpy Slump 1 through 3, you could absolutely do so. Um, he's got all sorts of different tiers of things you could do. You could get the first 3 issues for $18 Canadian plus shipping. I mean, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. What can I say? That's pretty good. I was happy to pick up these 2 issues from John at the Channel 1 festival. Yeah, so Lumpy Slump is so good. So this is our hero, Lumpy. It's a post-apocalyptic world. And he just kind of wanders looking for love. And then he enters the territory of the rabid rabbits. These rabbits are hungry and they don't eat salad. They're horrible, horrible carnivorous, terrible bunnies. I was going to read this whole thing out, but I think we'll just do a quick kind of flip through of it. So Lumpy is always just looking for love. He loves everything. He just wants to belong. He wants to hug the bunnies. And meanwhile they stab him and hurt him. And so he does what he does, which is grab onto them and it pops their brains out. And he kind of accidentally kills everything he comes across. And in this post apocalyptic world, everything ends up basically as food. You basically eat anything that you kill. And everything just seems to kind of be cute. Cute and murderous. And poor old Lumpy finds himself in the middle of it all the time. So I'm really enamored with Lumpy Slump. I think it's a great little series. And the art, John's got a great eye for putting together panels in a really fun way. And Lumpy Slump just kind of stumbled his way through the world, through this post-apocalypse. And here he is making people smile by sticking happy faces on them with knives. He just wants to make everyone in the post-apocalypse smile. Making people smile. Lumpy just kind of accidentally kills everything he comes across, which is fine because everything's trying to kill him. Maybe at some point I'll read through these with full voices. I feel a little funny doing that with comics, but it's also super fun. And finally, we come across the final one in here. His name is Slave Maker. And this guy he knows and he doesn't like. So this one they actually have a full on battle. Very good stuff. Reminds me a lot of it's like Mr. Magoo in a heavy metal comic, in heavy metal magazine. I think it's rad as hell. The cat's jumping. Something's up with my media player. Okay. Do a quick flip of the second issue as well. This one really amps up. Lumpy Slump finds themselves at first frozen. And then this strange creature sort of signs them up to do something. Putting them in basically in a terrible arena battle. Look at this this 6 panel thing is just so crazy. Because he old Lumpy Slump takes the guy's head and basically just starts whacking his face on this dude's face and just like, shh, it's fine. Crack. Go to sleep. Crack. It's fine. Kills him with kindness, basically. I can't wait to see what the third issue is about. John also did a really cool little, almost like a semi bootleg, where he puts Lumpy Slump together against a, we'll call it a predator, bit of a predator, but not predator, legally distinct from predator. I call it the predator. It was a fun little bootleg. We went through that last week, 2 weeks ago maybe. Yeah, 2 weeks ago we went through that. So you can find that in the VODs. The first episode of the Comix Zone. We went through that one. Have I seen the movie? It's called Predator. I have not. I have not. How's it going tonight? Oh, look at this one. I particularly love this. Look at the detail in that. Look at that. I think John really turns it up in episode or in issue 2. So I cannot wait to see. Yeah, I need to play more Next Fest demos. I played some earlier today. I'm going camping for the next week though, so I'm probably gonna miss out on the rest of them. Quite upsetting. Yeah, so Lumpy is gonna be great. Lumpy Slump. He's got a crowdfunding campaign going on right now for Lumpy Slump number 3. You can find it at the link I put the link I've put down there. Oh, that's kind of I made it a bit long. We can do shorter than that. Oh. So crowdfunder.com/lumpyslump3 where you can find that. And you can I think you can get the next issue for as low as like $6 Canadian, 666 is what he sells it for plus shipping. You could get all three issues, issues 1, 2, and 3, um, for $18 plus shipping, and help the guy out.